6, 5, 4, 3. They can't snap it. They can't stop it. They can't win it. Alabama wins the ball game.
Derek Thomas, linebacker, Alabama.
He was a nightmare for people that had to try to prepare for him because he had unique skills.
Just go get the quarterback. I felt sorry for some of those poor tackles that came in and had to go against him because they didn't realize what they were getting themselves into.
Hey, baby, let's go in there like a bunch of crazy dogs. Have some fun. Woo! Woo!
Son, I gotta do better than this.
Lights out.
Sacking the cornerback is just like you devastate a city or you cream a multitude of people. I mean, it's just like you put all the offensive players in one bag and I just take a baseball bat and beat on the bag. So each time he came over there, I tried to tear his damn head off.
Let's play some football. Let's play some football.
The pressure is on. This is Off the Edge on Tide 100.9.
Focus on what you want to do, what you want to accomplish. Think about that. Don't think about how you feel, how tired you are, how hot it is. You got to push yourself on the field like when you're playing football.
It's my honor to present the National Championship Trophy to Coach Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide.
To me, this is the ultimate team. All these guys bought into everything they needed to do to be the best players that they could be. There's more togetherness on this team than almost any team that we've ever had. And they had to overcome and persevere so much adversity through this season, and they've done it magnificently. And I'm so proud of this group for what they've been able to accomplish and going undefeated and winning the national championship.
Streaming live on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and the Tide 100.9 app. Here is your host of Off the Edge, Jacob Harrison. Disappear like man was never here. Rolling machine. Jesus supreme. Your man overthrown. Spit out the ball.
Hello there, welcome into Off the Edge. I am your host, Jacob Harrison, on a beautiful Monday night. We're going to have a ton of fun here talking all things Alabama, Crimson Tide sports. We have plenty to dive into tonight. The rumor / kind of breaking news that Devontae Smith did in fact decide or choose and let an NFL team know that he preferred one of his Crimson Tide quarterbacks over another. Cam Newton had a weird weekend with a up-and-coming football player. And we also want to dive into something that I want to extend as a question to you tonight. As the 2022 class is starting to come together, I got to thinking a little bit after last year with Malachi Moore and Will Anderson playing such a massive role in how successful the defense was, and we can get into that too, but how successful the defense was, who are your favorite freshmen coming into 2021? A guy that you think is going to play and help this team get back to a situation where it could potentially win a 19th national championship. I got to thank my man James Ludman, who is producing the show tonight. We've got intern Michael, who just got off of Tide Tonight with Joe Will. We're going to let them have their opinions heard just as well. That's something I love to do on this show, is make sure that it's not just my voice throughout the night, but that you can enjoy the voices of others. And just as a quick building block thing where we're trying to improve the show every single day, if you can't hear them over this dinky little speaker that I got from the blue and white store down the road, then please let me know in the chat. Which, by the way, that's where I want to direct your attention. If you are listening in your car and you're about to get home, you can go on over to Facebook or Twitter at Tide109 and check out the live stream and watch the show there. You can interact there, leave comments, whatever is on your mind. If you want to interact with the show, that way you can, and I can see it in real time, and we can use that. You can drop your favorite freshman for the 2021 class. Give us your opinion on the quarterback that Devontae Smith chose, or leave a joke for old Cam Newton, who kind of needs one. He needs a laugh, doesn't he, Michael? He's had a rough 2 years of it. Again, at Off the Edge 109 is the place to go on Facebook and Twitter. And I also very much encourage you to check out the YouTube channel, because there you can subscribe and you can enjoy premium content where we take the best segments of this show and hand deliver them to you on a daily basis. And that's a great way to support the show as well. It will help the show build into a broader audience, and that's something that I feel we sorely need here in Tuscaloosa. Not that you, listener, are not what we're looking for. We just want to grow the Alabama Crimson Tide family over sports radio, because sports radio is one of the best mediums out there. It never dies. It always evolves. And that's why I love it so much. Before we get truly started, I do got to give a shout out to my guys over at Alabama Vintage, 2210 University Boulevard, under the Crimson Awning across from City Hall. These guys have got an incredible idea, and they've brought it to T-Town. Speaking of growing that Alabama Crimson Tide family, let's do it again right here in T-Town by checking out some incredible vintage items that you can take home with yourself tonight, or, tomorrow. They are closed. But go check them out during the day tomorrow. Yeah, see, rookie mistakes. You laugh over there, James Lubin. Rookie mistakes. But go check them out right there on 2210 University Boulevard. Whatever you're in search of, whether it's a vintage hat or a vintage shoe, or maybe you want to check out the Sean Alexander figurine they've got in there from his MVP days with the Seattle Seahawks. They've got all that sort of stuff and more. Jerseys, jackets. They ran a sale this past weekend on jackets, so you got to keep up to date. Go like them on Facebook and Twitter to keep up with their sales, as well as keep it locked in to here on Off the Edge. Go check out Charlie and take home some sweet Alabama gear. So today, the article that I wrote was something that broke early in the day that Albert Breer of Sports Illustrated, in his weekly Monday Morning Quarterback kind of just news dump, where he gives what his sources had said, his interpretations of those sorts of things. Long read, but a good one. You're sure to find every sort of bit of information that you could possibly ask for. And one of those was Devontae Smith at the Senior Bowl being questioned by a team, and the team asking him a very simple question. Tua Tagovailoa or Mac Jones? And Devontae Smith, before the question was really over, according to Breer, emphatically said Mac Jones. Now, the interesting part about that is, well, yeah, obviously, he wants to back the guy that's going into the draft with him, who's had some questions about his stock, the guy that threw him all the passes, nearly, that resulted in him winning a Heisman Trophy and becoming one of the most decorated wide receivers, not only in Alabama Crimson Tide history, but also in SEC history. He holds 2 records that are career SEC records, and that's for yards and total touchdowns. He scored 46 touchdowns in 4 years at Alabama, and 24 of those, over half, came from Mac Jones over 2 seasons. 18 came from Tua. Now Tua, when Tua was the quarterback, Devontae Smith by many was seen as the 4th wide receiver, right? He was the guy that had the best hands, but he wasn't always the guy that was open, and he wasn't always the guy that was in on the base packages. And that was always understandable. Jalen Waddle's speed, the route running ability, as well as Henry Ruggs' speed, but the route running ability of Jerry Jeudy, those guys could break open a game at any given moment. And it wasn't something that Devontae necessarily lacked. Alabama was just so high-powered. He also caught 2 touchdown passes from Jalen Hurts. If you're wondering why he's not in this conversation, it's because he didn't have the opportunity to play with him very often. Obviously, Jalen's last season, technically as a starter, was in 2017 when Devontae Smith was a freshman. And as a freshman, he caught 8 passes for 160 yards and 3 touchdowns, which is basically a single game stat line for him now. So, as for the other 2, he also caught one from Talia Tagovailoa and also from Bryce Young, which was an incredible pass and something that kind of gives us a glimpse into what 2021 has in store for us for the Alabama Crimson Tide. Now, it's understandable why Devontae Smith would want to do this, and that's why I'm curious as to what you guys' thoughts are, and you listening wherever you may be to call in. It makes sense from a organizational standpoint for any team to want to do this. It could make sense for the Philadelphia Eagles, who today officially are releasing Deshaun Jackson and Alshon Jeffrey. They now literally have but one receiver with any respect on his name, and that's Jalen Reagor, and there's not much in terms of that. And then, so obviously they're in play for a wide receiver at the 6th overall pick. It's not very likely that Devontae Smith falls there, so why not throw out a little bit of tidbit of information to make it sound like Devontae Smith doesn't like Tua Tagovailoa, and that maybe would sway Miami to believe that. Not sure why they would. They were in very close contact throughout the entire week of the Senior Bowl and since then with Devontae Smith. Or it could also be the Dolphins themselves saying, don't trade up to number 2 with the New York Jets because we're not going to take them. Don't worry. You don't have to trade up to 2 to get Devontae Smith. We're not going to reunite him with Tua Tagovailoa. We may go Jamar Chase or offensive line instead. Don't worry. You're going to hear a lot of stuff like that throughout the next 2 months as we get ready for the NFL draft. So when it comes to Smith himself saying it, you really can't blame him. 24 touchdowns, all the SEC records, a lot of this comes from Mac Jones. Does it also go back to Sark? Yes. Do you think that if Smith had his choice of any offensive coordinator in the world, Sark would be at the very top of the list? And I think that would probably be the case even if Bill O'Brien were to have coached him for a year or anybody else for that matter. So I think you have to feel pretty good about that. I don't think there's too much to read into it, but it is at the very least interesting, and I think that turns itself into a situation where why didn't he like Tua? And that's the big discussion because everybody likes to get on to Tua for some reason. For some reason, maybe it's because he has that golden boy aspect about him. Maybe it's because he was the man at Alabama and he had all those weapons around him and it just made it look too easy. For me, I love Tua Tagovailoa. I love Mac Jones. I love most quarterbacks that come through Alabama. In general, they're usually guys that you can trust as leaders and that can get the job done regardless of what you have in front of you. So for me, I like Tua Tagovailoa. I think he has a bright future in store for him in his NFL career. And Smith himself said on the NFL Network during the Senior Bowl that he had already discussed the possibility with Tua himself on the possibility of heading over to Miami with the 3rd overall pick and reuniting with his former quarterback. So it's not saying that Devontae Smith doesn't like Tua, or that Devontae Smith doesn't like catching footballs that rotate to the left instead of to the right. It's nothing like that. It's simply Tua backing his guy. And I think it has a lot to do with Devontae wanting to kind of prop up Mac Jones. As I mentioned at the top of the conversation, it's wise for it's wise for Devontae Smith to want to help Mac Jones in his draft stock as well. Because as we've seen Mac Jones' stock rise, it has stagnated a little bit with a lot of negativity of people that questioning just how accurate is he. Is his arm strength actually that powerful? How limited is his mobility, and will it stop him from being successful at all at the NFL level? Those are all things that we just have to learn. And that comes with the territory of the NFL draft itself simply just being a crapshoot. Guys get it wrong all the time. Out of all the first-round quarterbacks drafted between 2009 and 2016, thanks to the Carson Wentz trade that we've heard quite a bit about, you're welcome, then I mean, none of those guys are with their team anymore. None of those guys are with their team anymore. And of the guys since then that have been drafted in the first round, Michael, we talked about this. Only 3 guys that have been drafted in the first round as a quarterback recently have won a Super Bowl. And 2 of them were backups, and we almost thought Josh Rosen was one of them, but we can't keep up with where he's at. So, and the only other one was Patrick Mahomes, who's the greatest thing to walk this earth. So, it takes time and patience. There's a strong possibility we could all be wrong about Trevor Lawrence. And it'd be the first time we were wrong about a guy like that in a long time, because everybody was right about Andrew Luck, even though his career didn't turn out the way we had hoped. It was still very apparent that he was a very, very talented quarterback. But then you'd have to go all the way back to Ryan Leaf as a guy that was can't miss, cannot miss. There were questions about Jamarcus Russell, but you cannot miss on this guy. Then there's the guys like Matt Ryan that kind of made it seem like, oh, well, it's a lot easier to hit than you think it is. No, it's still incredibly difficult. And the fact that we have more and more quarterbacks going in the draft year after year should tell you that quite a bit. These teams are not keeping their guys. They're not able to hold on. And plus, the way the NFL is now structured, you almost have to win your Super Bowl within your quarterback's rookie contract in order to really have a viable chance to bring on enough talent around him in order to succeed. So, yes, Mac Jones is going to need talent around him, but so is Trevor Lawrence down in Jacksonville. And you know what? Mac Jones played with a ton of talent over the past 16 games, but so has Trevor Lawrence over the past 45, or however many that he started for Clemson. At the end of the day, it's something that we just have to watch and learn and enjoy. Yes, the conversation is arguably the most fun part about the draft. Who was right? Who was wrong? Where did these guys end up projecting and where did they end up going? The whole conversation is the entire fun of the draft. But the other side of that is waiting and seeing how these guys turn out. Remember, Daniel Jones was the guy, when we first saw him on the field, we all thought we were wrong to belittle the Giants for drafting him 8th overall instead of Dwayne Haskins. Well, now we're kind of the opinion collectively that Daniel Jones can't get the job done either, and Dwayne Haskins now wears number 3 for my Pittsburgh Steelers, and it don't make a damn bit of sense. Those were guys that we expected to be great, and yet we have no idea where their career trajectory is going to go. So we just have to be patient with Mac Jones, as well as Devontae Smith and the rest of the Alabama Crimson Tide draft prospects this season. We're going to take a quick break. I do want to encourage you again, go to @OffTheEdge109 on Facebook and Twitter. Like the page, follow the page on Twitter, share the stream with your friends. Go check us out on YouTube. Like, share, and subscribe there as well. We would greatly appreciate it. We're here to bring you new and entertaining Crimson Tide radio in a brand new way. It's the next big thing here at Tide 100.9. We'll be right back right after this, and we're going to discuss what's going on with this weird situation with Cam Newton, and maybe even take a look at what could possibly be his future, since we got a first-hand resident of what a terrible 2020 he had. All that and more right here on Off the Edge on Tide 100.9, the home of Alabama Crimson Tide sports.
And found it at Amerisave.com, setting him up for a lifetime of savings. It's one decision he'll never regret, unlike taking that gig in the testing lab at the deodorant company.
Raise your arm, please. Oh, man, I hate this job.
Pretty regrettable, Gary. Unlike finding that low mortgage rate at Amerisave.com that's got you on your way to a lifetime of savings. Amerisave's rates won't be this low forever, so go to Amerisave.com now. Lower mortgage rates mean higher savings. Call 866-514-SAVE or visit Amerisave.com/licensing for cost information, terms and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all states except New York. NMLS number 1168.
If I'm not commuting anymore, where do I really want to live?
While you handle life's questions, Merrill Guided Investing helps you manage your portfolio and invest for your next move, with the option to work with an advisor at a low cost and minimum. Merrill, a Bank of America company. Visit merrilledge.com/investing goals to get started today.
Investing involves risk. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated, both a registered broker-dealer and investment advisor, member SIPC. Investment products are not FDIC insured or not bank guaranteed and may lose value.
Fear, guilt, indecision. These raw feelings are common when users witness an opioid overdose. As a bystander, fear and indecision may race through your mind, but it's vital that you call for help. Alabama's Good Samaritan law protects those who act in good faith in situations like an opioid overdose. Find out more about Alabama's Good Samaritan law at vitalalabama.com.
Meet Bob Minetti. In 2016, he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer.
Bob participated in a clinical trial that included cutting-edge radiation therapy and surgery. He's been in remission since completion. I'm Keisha Sharp. Since losing my mother to pancreatic cancer, I've been working to share the kind of state-of-the-art work being done by Stand Up to Cancer and Lust Garden Foundation. To learn more about the latest research, including clinical trials, visit pancreaticcancercollective.org.
It was very important to feel like a company valued me and my family's time, specifically helping get the timeshare company off of our backs.
Do all the good you can, by all the means you can, and all the ways you can. I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. I first heard that John Wesley quote when I was 11 years old in Sunday school. I even have his words displayed at all of our offices to give our employees the same purpose I have when fighting to get clients out of a fraudulent timeshare.
If you were not satisfied with other companies, look directly to Wesley Financial and they will help you.
I promise we'll do all the good we can every single day. That's why I guarantee we will cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. 800-843-1313. 800-843-1313. 800-843-1313.
Risky behavior with alcohol can lead to future health problems without warning. High blood pressure, stroke, and cancer. Substance misuse is dangerous. Knowing the risk is vital.
Follow Off the Edge on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube for live streams and instant analysis. Off the Edge with Jacob Harrison continues.
Good evening, welcome back into Off the Edge. I'm Jacob Harrison, your host for the night. We've got James Lubman behind the glass as well as intern Michael. We're going to get into this situation with Cam Newton. And if I could burden you, Michael, to find the audio. I've been running around like a chicken with my head cut off instead of taking care of my responsibilities. If you'll find the audio of the Cam Newton situation at the 7-on-7, I don't believe anything needs to be edited, so we can play that. But Cam Newton is at a 7-on-7 event where there's a lot of high school kids coming up, trying to get their name out there, get some recognition. And, Cam doesn't have to be there for what it's worth. But, he is. And we all love to rip on Cam, but this kid kind of comes in and I feel like takes it almost a little too far. If not entirely way too far, because he starts heckling Cam out of nowhere and just telling him that he's about to be a free agent, he's about to be poor, that he's nothing. And this kid hasn't done anything yet in his life either, but he is on his way up. And it's a severe sign of disrespect. And even with Cam Newton and everything he's been through here lately, you can't kick a guy while he's down. Now, I know giving sympathy to Cam Newton is probably a less than ideal situation, but if you haven't heard it, here's where you can. Let's take a listen to what happened with Cam Newton this past weekend.
You asked. You're a free agent. You're a free agent. You're a free agent. You about to be poor. I'm rich. You about to be poor. I'm rich. You about to be poor. I'm rich. You're a free agent. I'm rich. You're a free agent. I'm rich. He's a free agent. Where your daddy is? Let me talk to your dad. Let me talk to your dad. What's your dad? You're a free agent. What's your dad? You're a free agent. You're a free agent. You asked. Talk to. Let me. Where's your dad? Where's your pop? You asked.
So we've got a 17, 18-year-old heckling a former NFL MVP and Heisman Trophy winner, telling him, that he's basically nothing. He's about to be poor because he's about to be a free agent. He had a awful season with the New England Patriots, to put it bluntly. He has not been the same since those injuries, since really Super Bowl 50, it has really been all downhill for Cam Newton. And that's kind of just the situation that he's in. But this kid comes out and he's just being downright disrespectful. But on the other hand, you've got a 33-year-old guy over here who's reciprocating and commenting back and asking for the kid's dad, saying, no, I'm rich, I'm fine, I'm good. No matter what happens, with this whole NFL thing, like, I'm set up for life, guys. Like, I've taken care of myself and yada, yada, yada. Be that all as it may, I'm kind of curious, James, Michael, your guys' thoughts on what transpired over the weekend with Cam Newton, Michael.
Yeah, it was like one of the weirdest things I've ever seen, this video of Cam. I mean, the kid is at Cam Newton's camp. He's like, I'm assuming he probably paid money to be there, to like go to Cam.
If he didn't, somebody did.
If he didn't, his parents. Yeah, by him I meant his parents. But yeah, he was trying to learn football from Cam Newton's camp, and he shows up there and heckles him. And Lubin said, I'm a Patriots fan. I don't like Cam Newton at all, but this was a little bit ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. And I feel like it's on both sides. Like, I've been, like as we've discussed it throughout the day as compatriots or whatever you want to call it, it's been... I've been kind of hard on the kid because it's just incredibly disrespectful. As you said, somebody paid money for this kid to be here, whether it was a coach or a parent or a boost. Somebody wanted this kid to have the opportunity to play in front of Cam Newton, get some pointers, maybe catch a couple of passes, whatever. That's great. But at the same time, like, Cam Newton, what are you doing? Why are you reciprocating this at all? Why are you responding? Why are you even getting yourself halfway involved with this? Just let it go. Let the kid be an idiot. The kid does come back and he says, I'm sorry. I hope I can be forgiven. I was, as a football player, I was caught up in the heat of the moment and, stuff happens. My competitive side just came out. I didn't mean to be disrespectful. First of all, you told... For all intents and purposes, you don't have to like what I'm about to say, but it's the truth. You told an NFL legend, a football legend, that he's ass multiple times and called him out for being a free agent, which at some point everybody is. At some point, somebody's a free agent. Very, very few and far between are players ever with a team for their entire career. No. Not buying that. So, James, when it comes to the apology, and I'm not sure if we've heard anything from Cam Newton. I don't feel like he has to really say anything. But what is your take on this and the apology and how things have kind of transpired in this weird situation?
You know what happened when I backtalked my mama? I got smacked in the mouth. I mean, that's what it boils down to. I mean, it's you go to a camp, as Michael said, run by Cam Newton, who, yes, is not at the level he was 5 years ago. But that doesn't matter. I mean, he's still an NFL pro. He's still in the game. You're still trying to learn. And I think this, to be honest with you, I thought Cam handled it a little bit better than what I thought he would. Because in that situation, if somebody's talking trash to me and I'm an NFL player and they're talking the way that this kid was talking, I'm gonna give him the business. Like, it's not okay to say that stuff. But I think it opens up a conversation about how coaches in high school football need to be aware of this kind of stuff and to say, listen, we can't, like, in the clip we didn't play, but later on, like, the head coach comes in and goes, all right, it's done. Like, you all need to break it up. And he did that because the high school player was out of line. I mean, he had no business saying that. And I'm not a big Cam Newton fan either, but I mean, there's a certain level that you get to, and there should be a little more respect to me. I don't fault Cam for how he did it, but I do fault the kid for just being completely disrespectful.
Yeah, and you make a good point too. Is none of us like Cam Newton. You know what I mean? Like, we're all Alabama Crimson Tide fans in one way or another. We're alums or we just live here in Tuscaloosa. Whatever the situation may be, none of us like Cam Newton. Regardless of what you feel about all the scandals or the fact that he only played at Auburn 1 year, brought him a national championship, a Heisman Trophy, and beat Alabama all in the same year. But at the very least, the man has earned his respect. Has he played poorly over the past 3 or 4 seasons? Absolutely. But that means no right. Like, that doesn't mean that me, James, or Michael can ever go up to Cam Newton and call him out for a sorry career or a situation that he's in. Now, Michael keeps laughing because he's a Patriots fan, and he sure... you can, but at the same time, like, there has to be a level of respect, regardless of anything. And you know, that goes for any kind of player. Like take Ben Davis, for example, who's in the transfer portal, didn't play a lot here at Alabama for 4 years. Okay, he kept his mouth shut, did his thing, went to class, went to practice, contributed to the team when available, right? Just did his thing, followed in his father's footsteps. You know, that's a big reason a lot of people are going to respect him. But, you know, could you imagine if when he puts his name in the transfer portal and anybody starts to attack the kid for not finishing his career technically at Alabama? I mean, the only reason he's got this extra year is because of COVID. But you see what I'm saying? Like, there's no reason to attack the guy, even if your loyalties in some way want to give you a reason to go out and do that. So, for me, it's hands off. Like, you can't be like that with anything. Now, with that being said, now we can poke some fun at Cam Newton. Is his career over? Is his NFL career over? Is he going to start somewhere next year? Because I'm not seeing a lot of destinations that have Cam Newton, welcome, come play quarterback for us. Do you guys see anywhere in the NFL that this guy can play next year?
It's kind of, I think, at least in terms of a starting job for Cam, I think it's New England or bust at this point. And again, as a Patriots fan, there's about 50 other quarterbacks I would rather have starting week 1 for us than Cam Newton. But it's not completely out of the realm of possibility that we re-sign him, and there's not another team in the league that's given him a starting job week 1 next year. So
Joe Gaither, you know, he's got that chat going. He says, you know, that 5-year-old in that old NFL Play commercial called him out. If only it would have been the same kid, then we would have been all good, because then it just came full circle and it's just fun. But sadly, not the case. So I'm not sure. I think the NFL has outlasted Cam. That there's nothing left for him. There's nowhere to go. There's too many good quarterbacks coming in this draft. Too many teams like to build through that, and you know, even with all the failings of the Patriots offense, you know, that weren't Cam Newton's fault, there was still plenty of times where you could tell the guy just doesn't have it anymore. He did have the one Seattle game, and that's just going to have to be, you know, all she wrote on his NFL career. If you disagree, though, on anything, on that, on the Devontae Smith situation with Mac Jones and Tua Tagovailoa, feel free to leave a comment on the stream that you are watching on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube, and I will see it instantaneously. The best comments will make the air, and we will discuss that as well. You can also call in to the show. 205-342-9904 is the phone number to call. We'd love to discuss with you there as well. We're going to take a quick break and come back and talk about Deion Sanders, who had a weird weekend, as well as we cover the entire realm of college sports and the NFL. And, you know, we try it back to Alabama Crimson Tide as often as we possibly can. This is Off the Edge on Tide 100.9, the home of Alabama Crimson Tide sports.
If you own a small business, you know how hard it can be to find new customers. Now, Town Square has new tools that can help your business stand out and grow today. Go to GetLocalCustomersNow.com for a free local market competitive analysis that will show you what other businesses in town are doing to find new customers and how you can do it too with Town Square. Plus, be one of the first business owners to sign up with Town Square and receive $500 in free advertising on this radio station. Visit GetLocalCustomersNow.com.
Guys, breakfast.
How do you do it?
The kids or everything else?
Hey, are those
new phones? Got 2 truly unlimited lines from Walmart Family Mobile. Tea's ready. With no contract. Pass the toast. Makes me feel like I'm a step ahead.
You are amazing.
And your boss is calling. Get 2 truly unlimited lines with 30 gigabyte hotspot per line for under $75 a month. Powered by T-Mobile. Walmart Family Mobile. Stay a step ahead. HD video streaming up to 720p. See terms and conditions at myfamilymobile.com. Available at Walmart.
Hey, Matthew, we need to restock those sleeping bags.
Indeed knows unexpected growth can stretch your business thin.
One of you cover this register?
Like at Anita's outdoor store. To keep sales climbing, she needs to get started hiring right away.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. And the moment you sponsor a job on Indeed, you get a short list of quality candidates from our resume database. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get a $75 credit for your first sponsored job post. Terms and conditions apply.
The President's Day event is going on now at Carlock Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram of Tuscaloosa. Cash in on amazing Carlock offers and save thousands off MSRP on our most popular models. A new 2021 Dodge Charger, $4,000 off MSRP. A new 2021 Jeep Cherokee, $5,500 off MSRP. Save a whole lot of Benjamins on these models and many more. Visit carlockoftuscaloosa.com or swing by today to learn more. Charger offer on stock number MH512811 includes $3,000 factory incentive. Cherokee offer on stock number MD150417 includes $4,500 factory incentive. Both offers include $1,000 Carlock discount. Must finance through Chrysler Financial. On approved credit. Excludes tax, title, and tags. Must take delivery by February 28, 2021. See dealer for details.
So you think you have unlimited data?
Recalculating.
Think again. If you have unlimited data on a network you can't trust, your data is limited, and so are you. Set your smartphone free with the unlimited plans from Total Wireless. Get 4 lines with unlimited data on the nation's best network now with 5G. With 100 gigabytes at high speed, then 2G for just $25 a month per line.
You have arrived at your destination.
Get unlimited and save. Total Wireless. Do amazing. Available at Walmart. See terms and conditions at TotalWireless.com.
We aren't going anywhere. Off the Edge is available in the podcast center on Tide100.9.com.
Joe Gaither.
Hello there, welcome back into Off the Edge. My name is Jacob Harrison. It's a pleasure to be with you on a gorgeous Monday night talking Alabama Crimson Tide sports and the entire gamut, whether it be NFL or now FCS football. Now, look, I didn't watch any FCS football, and, you know, that was more or less because I forgot that it was even really a thing. But, you know, and that's shame on me. You know, there's good FCS football out there, but at the same time, when you got Jackson State newly being coached by Deion Sanders playing an NAIA team out of Jacksonville, like, we've got problems. I don't. Not even a little bit. Like, this is not good. Look, I played at an NAI school. Like, that's how low the talent bar is, guys. Played at Faulkner University for 1 year and didn't like it. Stepped out. Okay, but like, there's FBS, there's FCS, Division II, Division III, and then the NAIA is its own organization. It's not incorporated with the NCAA at all. At all. So, no.
The college I went to was NAIA, and then they ended up moving up to Division II NCAA, and it was like a completely different talent level.
Well, it's like when these schools go from FCS when they first open their programs, but they're already affiliated with a Division I conference, and they get up to that Division I conference, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. South Alabama dominated the FCS level for years and years and years and years until they got to the FBS level, and they can't compete in the Sun Belt. Now, there are some exceptions. Appalachian State was an FCS powerhouse for a long time. They moved up to Division I, and they have dominated the Sun Belt the entire time they have been there. They're a team that you could potentially expect to maybe join the American or Conference USA conference a little bit down the road, and I would be excited to say that. But Deion Sanders comes out and, first of all, I remember a long time ago, I used to watch a lot of NFL Network. Like a lot of the guys here, I fell in love with the NFL first, then fell in love with college football, then fell in love with the Alabama Crimson Tide. But I remember a long time ago hearing Deion Sanders primetime himself say that I could never be a coach because, I can't handle people doing things the wrong way. While somebody did something the wrong way during Jackson State's victory this week, and guys, if you got the audio ready, let's jump to it. Deion Sanders right after his first victory at Jackson State, a job that he was proud to take, and he plans on taking to extremely, extremely high heights. Here's how Deion Sanders' first press conference after a victory went.
Bless you. Appreciate you and everything. I'm pissed off right now because I have mixed emotions. We won. The kids played really well. But while the game was going on, somebody came in and stole every darn thing I had in my locker room, in the coach's office. Yeah. Credit cards, wallet, watches. Thank God I had on my necklaces. How? So when I talk about equality and raising the standards, and that goes for everyone, man. Not just the people on the field, not just the coaches, not just the teachers, not just the faculty, but that's everybody, security and everybody. So how do you think it feels coming back after just teary-eyed because the guys have presented me with the game ball, one of the best moments I've ever had in my professional sports career emotionally. And then you go into your locker room, your coach's office to digress, and you notice and you don't even have a phone to call your mama, to call your girl, to call your kids because it's been stolen. You don't even have the Scully hats that you wore here. We're gonna find out who did it.
And that audio is courtesy of the ABC affiliate there in Jackson, Mississippi. So I'm about to call out my wife on radio because I kind of see where Deion's coming from. Look, I mean, even though the situation was immediately resolved, Jackson State, officials come out and say, no, things just got misplaced. First of all, that's all well and good. Don't touch the guy's stuff. He's prime time. He can handle himself. He is a coach. Nobody should go in his office without him being there. Point blank, period. You think people go in Nick Saban's office? No, hold up. Nick Saban, Deion Sanders, as far as coaching goes, okay, not on the same level, I get it. But nobody goes in Coach Saban's office without him being there, I'm sure. Except maybe one or two people that have clearance to go in there and clean or run an errand or whatever, right? Deion Sanders, one of the greatest football players of all time, and now a highly respected coach at the FCS level. Don't go messing with his stuff. But the situation has been resolved. But as far as enjoying moments, even though the situation was resolved, the moment was still sullied for him. Because we all know Deion. Like as passionate of a guy he is, he's emotional. And everybody knows Deion because he's so open about those sorts of things, right? They know that he's a family guy. I've already got an angry emoji from the wife. Everybody is, he's open about those sorts of things, but to be able to enjoy those moments however you see fit is very, very important to every single person ever. So to turn this weird sports story into a situation where I make fun of my wife was cleaning out our car one day, and she was at at an old car wash station where they have free vacuum and whatnot. And I graduated from the University of Alabama in spring of 2020, but I did not walk until August because of COVID. And a couple of days before the ceremony, we all go out and we buy Alabama masks. I got my stepdad, who's an Auburn fan, my mom, who's an Auburn fan. I got both of them to wear Alabama, themed or logoed masks to my graduation. We all took photos. My mother-in-law is also an Auburn fan. Apparently, me and my wife are the only ones with sense in our family, but we'll jump on that one another day. But we all had these masks. I'm the only one that doesn't have that mask anymore, and I'm the one that graduated because my wife vacuumed up my mask that I wore at graduation into the local car wash vacuum. It is lost forever. And I didn't get mad. This is just poking fun at her, but that was something that you didn't even realize how special it was until it was gone. So at the very least,
You're right. I am.
Maybe a little bit, Nick. I mean, I'll see the pictures 10, 15 years down the line, and I can immediately look at my wife and say, hey, remember when you vacuumed up that mask and how I don't have it anymore?
I lost $20 in a car wash one time. I still can't get over it. Like, it's tough. It is very tough when you lose stuff at the car wash.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But, I mean, especially if it's something of sentimental value. Like, could you imagine if I, accidentally vacuumed up, my son's Lego set? It would devastate him, right? That's way darker than losing some COVID mask, but my wife said it was a horrid mistake, and also to point out that her dad is an Alabama fan, so he's got a little bit of sense as well. So, props to Jeepa. But, overall, just to turn that story, we enjoy doing things the way that we know to do them, and when somebody else messes with it, it can be just a little bit annoying. So if you got a funny story like that, you can call in 205-342-9904, or if you think I'm just a total jerk for calling out my wife on the radio, you can poke some fun at me as well. We will come right back on the other side of this break and jump into some more Alabama Crimson Tide news and update you on something fun that we have got planned here for the show. My name is Jacob Harris, and this is Off the Edge on Tide 100.9, the home of Alabama Crimson Tide sports.
If you own a small business, you know how hard it can be to find new customers. Now, Town Square has new tools that can help your business stand out and grow today. Go to GetLocalCustomersNow.com for a free local market competitive analysis that will show you what other businesses in town are doing to find new customers and how you can do it too with Town Square. Plus, be one of the first business owners to sign up with Town Square and receive $500 in free advertising on this radio station. Visit GetLocalCustomersNow.com.
Guys, breakfast.
How do you do it?
The kids or everything else?
Hey, are those
New phones? Got 2 truly unlimited lines from Walmart Family Mobile. Tea's ready. With no contract. Pass the toast. Makes me feel like I'm a step ahead.
You are amazing.
And your boss is calling. Get 2 truly unlimited lines with 30 gigabyte hotspot per line for under $75 a month. Powered by T-Mobile. Walmart Family Mobile. Stay a step ahead. HD video streaming up to 720p. See terms and conditions at myfamilymobile.com. Available at Walmart.
Hey, Matthew, we need to restock those sleeping bags.
Indeed knows unexpected growth can stretch your business thin.
One of you cover this register?
Like at Anita's outdoor store. To keep sales climbing, she needs to get started hiring right away.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. And the moment you sponsor a job on Indeed, you get a short list of quality candidates from our resume database. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get a $75 credit for your first sponsored job post. Terms and conditions apply.
So you think you have unlimited data?
Recalculating.
Think again. If you have unlimited data on a network you can't trust, your data is limited, and so are you. Set your smartphone free with the unlimited plans from Total Wireless. Get 4 lines with unlimited data on the nation's best network now with 5G. With 100 gigabytes at high speed, then 2G for just $25 a month per line.
You have arrived at your destination.
Get unlimited and save. Total Wireless. Do amazing. Available at Walmart. See terms and conditions at TotalWireless.com.
If you own a small business, you know how hard it can be to find new customers. Now, Town Square has new tools that can help your business stand out and grow today. Go to GetLocalCustomersNow.com for a free local market competitive analysis that will show you what other businesses in town are doing to find new customers and how you can do it too with Town Square. Plus, be one of the first business owners to sign up with Town Square and receive $500 in free advertising on this radio station. Visit GetLocalCustomersNow.com.
You know what happens in a plasma chamber?
Big stuff. Science stuff.
Diamonds. I'm Tom Osmond. Fincher & Osmond Jewelers carries artisan-created diamonds.
Earth and human safe.
And bigger. Lots bigger.
Fincher & Osmond diamonds from the mines or artisan-created diamonds.
They're all diamonds.
If you want to give her the big stuff, you've got to see these diamonds.
FincherandOsmond.com. A little tricky to find on McFarland Boulevard between Edgar's and Local Roots.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A clear sky tonight. Tuscaloosa's low at 39 degrees. Tomorrow and Wednesday, sunny both days with a warming trend. The high tomorrow 67, Wednesday's high 71. Thursday, a mix of sun and clouds with a few isolated showers. The high at 70. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9.
You're listening to Off the Edge on Tide 100.9.
back into Off the Edge. My name is Jacob Harrison. We're having a blast here on this Monday night. So glad you could be with us on the streams. If you're there, be sure to leave comments and interact with the show. We'd love to have you in that capacity as well. Check us out at Off the Edge 109 on Facebook and Twitter, as well as go check out that YouTube channel and hit the subscribe button. Check out the awesome content that we bring to you daily. It's the best segments of each show cut up and brought to you in little bite-sized pieces that you can enjoy on the fly. And if you ever miss an episode, you can go back to the podcast center on Tide109.com and enjoy the show there as well. That is where the show is in its entirety for 2 hours. What, you thought bite-sized pieces was that funny?
No, I'm laughing at your tweet here, and you should probably publicly apologize to your wife right now.
I feel like I don't have to.
Because we're going to write a story on the Tuscaloosa thread about how you went missing tomorrow.
Hey, it'll get clicks.
Clickbait.
Hey, Steve Deathridge loves clicks. Let's go. LUVs. All in the name of love, right? So yeah, if you're out there on the streams, man, be sure to interact with us there. At Off the Edge 109, if you want to see the tweet where I screenshotted the messages that my wife attacked me with during our previous segment, you can feel free to do that there as well. I want to share or remind about something fun that we're going to do here on Tide 100.9 and Off the Edge. Think about doing a stream of NCAA 14 and doing an Alabama Crimson Tide dynasty. Starting in 2020, so we get to play with the 18th national championship team for the Crimson Tide. Get to play with Mac Jones and Will Anderson, Devontae Smith, and the Heisman Trophy. Try to repeat with that. Najee Harris. It'd be a lot of fun, as well as a few other mods that I've got, where I've got the 2021 recruit class, for the most part, at least the top names that you would recognize. So we can go out and get J.C. Latham and the Brockermeyers. We can go see if we can get J.T. Tuimoloau to come join the Alabama Crimson Tide, since he is not yet committed. We can see what he looks like in the crimson and white. The way we're going to do this is we're going to try to get 250 followers at Off the Edge 109. So whatever you're doing, if this seems even slightly interesting to you, and let me assure you it should be, go on over to at Off the Edge 109 on Twitter and scrolling down and see some of the previews where we've seen where this mod called the College Football Revamp mod completely brings back NCAA 14 back to life with graphical updates and the uniforms. Like, first of all, they didn't have to touch Alabama. They didn't. I mean, Alabama's uniform was one of the simpler, more traditional uniforms out there, right? Well, no. What they did is they enhanced the colors of the crimson helmet, of the crimson jersey, where they are slightly different shades because of the finish, but they are definitely crimson. They brighten the whites on the pants. They cleaned up the stripes. Everything about it is excellent. They've got the players' details down to the pixel. So go on over there and check that out and get an idea of what we're about to do here on Off the Edge. We're going to look to stream at least 1, maybe 2 times a week, and we might dive into some other ideas to get a little gaming stream going on, where maybe we'll do a Madden franchise where we are only allowed to draft Alabama players and see if we can go dominate the NFL with Alabama players. I've had other ideas pitched at me where we can watch somebody else play a game and make fun of them as they play it, or any number of things. This thing can seriously evolve, and it can just be a sister brand to what Off the Edge is here on sports radio. I think it's a good way to kind of blend some audiences and enjoy the Crimson Tide together. So as it pertains to the freshmen that I mentioned earlier, there are a lot of guys in this class that are there to be excited about. So I want to open up the phone lines and the chat, and I also want to get the opinions of James and Michael on who your favorite freshman is coming into the 2021 season. Now, we're still a long ways off, but A-Day is right around the corner. It's going to be here before we know it. A little over a month and a half away. I mean, heck, March is literally like a week and a day away. So we're getting close. Spring football maybe here in FCS terms, but it is almost here in the FBS level as well. So there's plenty to be excited about. And when we look back on this past season where we saw what happened with Will Anderson, who looked like an absolute monster week 1 against the Missouri Tigers, I yearn for such violence back in football. The dude is so sudden and violent, and the nickname the Terminator was just spot on. Mac Jones does it again with the nicknames, and he earned it. He earned respect from day one, and he goes out and he goes out and he leads the SEC in pass rushes. But not only that, he then, within the last half of the season, goes out and leads the SEC in sacks with only about half a season's worth of sacks because he wasn't able to get to the quarterback early in the season. So a guy like him or a guy like Malachi Moore, who brought back the memories of seeing guys like Minka Fitzpatrick absolutely dominate the defensive backfield from that star position, an absolute game changer of a player was Malachi Moore, and instantly became a fan favorite. Now, today was the first time I ever heard a negative word about him when we were talking about Malachi Moore on Southern Fried Sports with Travis Reier. But overall, I've never heard a negative word about Malachi Moore because the guy has such potential, and he learned that defense so quickly. Despite all the problems with COVID, he came in over from Trustful and just took to the team so naturally and became a figurehead on this defense, which is going to be very, very good for a few years to come. So who are the guys that spring to mind for you as Alabama Crimson Tide fans that you can't wait to see step on the field next season? We'll dive into that a little bit more closely, but you can call in 205-342-9904 or leave a comment in the chat section of whichever stream you are on at Off the Edge 109 on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We'll be back for the second hour of Off the Edge. I'm Jacob Harrison. I got James Lumen and Michael with me. We'll be right back right after this.
Gary is refinancing his home, so he shopped around for the lowest rate and found it at Amerisave.com, setting him up for a lifetime of savings. It's one decision he'll never regret, unlike taking that gig in the testing lab at the deodorant company.
Raise your arm, please. Oh, man, I hate this job.
Pretty regrettable, Gary, unlike finding that low mortgage rate at Amerisave.com that's got you on your way to a lifetime of savings. Amerisave's rates won't be this low forever, so go to Amerisave.com now. Lower mortgage rates mean higher savings. Call 866-514-SAVE or visit Amerisave.com/licensing for cost information, terms, and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all states except New York. NMLS number 1168.
If I'm not commuting anymore, where do I really want to live?
While you handle life's questions, Merrill Guided Investing helps you manage your portfolio and invest for your next move with the option to work with an advisor at a low cost and minimum. Merrill, a Bank of America company. Visit merrilledge.com/investing goals to get started today.
Investing involves risk. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated, both a registered broker-dealer and investment advisor, member SIPC. Investment products are not FDIC insured or not bank guaranteed and may lose value.
Meet Bob Minetti. In 2016, he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. Bob participated in a clinical trial that included cutting-edge radiation therapy and surgery. He's been in remission since completion. I'm Keisha Sharp. Since losing my mother to pancreatic cancer, I've been working to share the kind of state-of-the-art work being done by Stand Up to Cancer and Lust Garden Foundation. To learn more about the latest research, including clinical trials, visit pancreaticcancercollective.org.
Guys, breakfast!
How do you do it?
The kids or everything else?
Hey, are those
new phones? Got 2 truly unlimited lines from Walmart Family Mobile. Tea's ready. With no contract. Pass the toast. Makes me feel like I'm a step ahead.
You are amazing.
And your boss is calling. Get 2 truly unlimited lines with 30 gigabyte hotspot per line for under $75 a month. Powered by T-Mobile. Walmart Family Mobile. Stay a step ahead. HD video streaming up to 720p. See terms and conditions at myfamilymobile.com. Available at Walmart.
It was very important to feel like a company valued me and my family's time, specifically helping get the timeshare company off of our backs.
Do all the good you can, by all the means you can, and all the ways you can. I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. I first heard that John Wesley quote when I was 11 years old in Sunday school. I even have his words displayed in all of our offices to give our employees the same purpose I have when fighting to get clients out of a fraudulent timeshare.
If you were not satisfied with other companies, look directly to Wesley Financial and they will help you.
I promise we'll do all the good we can every single day. That's why I guarantee we will cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. 800-843-1313. 800-843-1313. 800-843-1313. Fear, guilt, indecision. These raw feelings are common when users witness an opioid overdose. As a bystander, fear and indecision may race through your mind, but it's vital that you call for help. Alabama's Good Samaritan law protects those who act in good faith in situations like an opioid overdose. Find out more about Alabama's Good Samaritan law at VitalAlabama.com.
Risky behavior with alcohol can lead to future health problems without warning. High blood pressure, stroke, and cancer. Substance misuse is dangerous. Knowing the risk is vital.
The pressure is on. This is Off the Edge on Tide 100.9.
Quarterback back at the 5, steps up, gets drilled. Yes, sir, he gets mashed. And that is going to be the ball game. Alabama wins the ball game.
Streaming live on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and the Tide 100.9 app. Now, here is your host of Off the Edge, Jacob Harrison. Let's go.
Hey there, welcome back into Off the Edge. My name is Jacob Harrison, your host for the night. Excited to be with you, and hey, you can jump into the chat just as Wesley did, and Wesley's absolutely right. I meant to mention this when we were discussing the NCAA 14 situation where, did you guys see, Notre Dame has said that they will not participate in the upcoming college football game until the NIL rules are passed. So name, image, and likeness. Until that is resolved, Notre Dame won't be in there. I don't think it'll mess it up for all of us, though, Wesley. However, it does kind of give you a glimpse at what this thing is going to be. It's going to be incomplete, whatever it is, until the name, image, and likeness is resolved. And I think it will be, simply because of the way the states are jumping on this. The NCAA has got to get out ahead of this and deal with it themselves. But I'm not going to be too bummed out about Notre Dame not being in there, because generally I play with smaller schools or I play with Alabama. But for a lot of people, that immediately just shuts down, what they expect out of the game. Because if you're a Michigan fan, you don't get to play Notre Dame. If you're a USC fan, you don't get to play Notre Dame. And if you are Notre Dame, you don't get to play with your team. So that is incredibly disappointing. And as for the freshmen, Wesley comes in and he says that his freshmen that he wants to see are Kool-Aid and Keanu Coe, two defenders who I think can step in and play very quickly as well. I'm excited for what Kool-Aid McKinstry brings to this team. I don't know exactly what his role will be, but it's not going to be strictly a special teamer, I can tell you that. Whether or not he kind of takes over that outside role at corner, or Malachi Moore goes there and he takes over at the star position as sort of that hybrid nickel safety kind of player, I don't know. But I think that JaQuincy McKinstry was the number one player in the state for a reason. We all got to see him in some form or fashion throughout our coverage of high school football. So I think that's a guy that we can be extremely excited for. But James, I want to welcome you in to the show. James Ludman, our fantastic producer, for I know you got at least one show in the upcoming future that you're not going to be with us. We're going to bring back Tommy Paradise. But at least for the most part, on his own dime and his own time being here, greatly appreciated of him. But James, who is the guy that you're excited to see in this freshman class coming to 2021 for the Alabama Crimson Tide?
Can it be any sport?
No,
just football.
It's football.
Just football?
Yeah. We're all excited about J.D. Davis.
That's what I was going to say. Like, dude, the guy is unreal. No, I think you hit it with Kool-Aid. I'm telling you, I love the kid. I love what he's able to do defensively. I think he's very, very good. He has very good hands. And he's one of those guys that, you look at this defense who, is kind of up and down. I know you and I have had so many conversations about a Pete Golding defense and how, that they've allowed a lot of points and things like that, and people are unhappy with the defense. But I'm going to tell you, this recruiting class as a whole, though, for Alabama's defense, and they still got a couple guys that are in the process of making their final decisions defensively for Alabama, I think is going to be great. But I will say, as far as a guy who you look at explosively and who can make the big play, it's got to be Kool-Aid for me. I just love the idea of him being back there next season and really making an impact. Even in his freshman year, I think he can come in and make an immediate impact right away.
I do too, and I would be shocked, honestly, if he doesn't. James, I'm also curious of Wesley's other prospect that he was curious to see. And again, join us in the chats, man. That's how we can interact and have radio in a brand new way. We appreciate Wesley for stepping in and being a star here for us on the show. Keanu Cote, though, comes in out of Florida as a edge prospect. He's 6'4", 215. He's a little lean. And with the success that we saw out of Will Anderson, who is a bulkier guy, and Chris Allen manning down the other spot, we've got Drew Sanders to feel good about. We've got a lot of guys on the edge. I used to be incredibly worried about this position, and no longer am I. But what do you think about a guy that's a little bit leaner, but has some speed to him, and coming in and assisting the defense as a third down pass rusher?
Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest thing for Alabama that's something that I'm with you. I think there's been some concern in the past, even to some degree last season, but maybe it's really been one of those improved spots. But getting a speedster on the edge, look what happened with the Super Bowl. I mean, you got the edge rusher in Shaquille Barrett, and he made a huge difference in the Super Bowl, and that's the kind of stuff that you can do in college as well.
Your edge rushers always matter, and I can't help but to think what kind of guys are going to come in and create their own money. You know what I'm saying? Like, not, obviously not, monetarily, but get onto the field themselves. So, talking about a guy like Terry Arnold, the safety position was considered probably the weakest on the defense. But you still got a leader like Jordan Battle. You've got other guys back there, DeMarco Helms, and Wright that can get the job done. But does a guy like Terry Arnold come in, who's got all the measurables and everything in the world to make you think that, this guy can be the real deal and win a spot off of one of these veteran guys? That's always the interesting thing. A lot of times we automatically assume, unless it's a quarterback, that they're just going to have to wait their turn. A guy like Kamar Wheaton, the backfield is just too much. He's going to have to wait his turn. Or even a guy like Keanu Cote, where we instantly think, well, Will Anderson and Chris Allen are already really good, and they're already bulked. Why would you expect this guy who's only 215 pounds? You know what I'm saying? So it's always interesting to see how these guys get here, soak in the scheme, soak in the playbook, soak in the culture, and then are able to display it out on the field. So Wes was our champion of the chat, and he is called in. So, Wes, we want to welcome you to the show, man. How are you doing this afternoon?
I'm actually at the gym. I live in Atlanta, but I previous stuff because I graduated from Alabama. I worked for our athletic department when I was in school, and I kind of take offense to the average fan that doesn't understand the way the game is now. So we led the SEC in defense, giving up only 19 points a game. We also led the SEC in offense, by the way, and we led the country in quick strike touchdowns. So the thing is, you put your defense on the field more often, which means they're going to give up more points. We're not playing football like we did when Nick Saban first got here, where we were squeezing the life out of the other team and we were shortening the game and we're taking away possession. Coach Saban even mentioned it this year. You don't get any points for TOP, man. You get points for putting in the end zone, right?
You're absolutely right. I can't agree with you anymore. I have shouted it from the rooftops here at Tuscaloosa that the way defense is played has changed, and the number one thing is, do you create turnovers and do you prevent the other team from scoring points as little as possible? They're going to get yards. Elite players are going to make elite plays. You can't be upset with Malachi Moore for getting burned by a Florida guy who runs a 4.3 and is about to play in the NFL as a top 15 pick in Kadarius Toney. You can't get upset when when the rules are designed the way they are to allow the offense to create its plays for them. I mean, as much as I love RPOs, we've got offensive linemen 5 yards down the field. What is the defense supposed to do?
You're bringing that up. Coach Saban has been harping on that for years. If they shortened the offensive linemen getting down the field and they made it more like the NFL with the RPO, one, it's dangerous, by the way. Two, you're taking a strategy, which this strategy, the RPO, was used a long time ago for schools that couldn't compete in the trenches with Alabamas and Floridas and things like that. They got a couple of guys that could get out in space, and what they would do is they're trying to space you out. Ohio State did it to us in the playoffs when they beat us with Ezekiel Elliott. They did the same thing to us. They spread us out. The thing is, when you've got elite-level teams, just like you said with Florida, with a Kadarius Toney and a Kyle Pitts, who's about to go probably top 10, he's probably the best tight end. And the guy should have probably gotten more Heisman consideration because he was a monster just like Devonta was too.
Preach.
He just played on a team that wasn't quite as good. So the thing is, it just infuriates me. Like, I coach football here at a middle school level as well, and to watch these fans that, one, sideline alum, and I appreciate you for being an alumni, sidewalk alum is what I call them. People that never got close to my school, and all they did was get on the sidewalk of my school, that want to criticize Pete Golding, who literally took a defense that was hurt and very young and turned it into the best defense in the SEC. Lane Kiffin, by the way, is an offensive genius, and he's the only one that him and the coach at Florida were the only schools that exposed our defense, and that's because they had elite-level offensive talent.
And elite-level scheming as well. I want to ask you something, Wes, because, with your background as a coach and your passion for the sport, something we talked a lot about with the Alabama Crimson Tide in 2019 that kind of got swept under the rug, I felt like. Like, people just didn't pay attention to this, and they just wanted to immediately start hurling stones at Pete Golding. Every now and then they forgive the injury situation that defense suffered through, and it eventually prospered on this defense in 2020. But when it came to Shane Lee and Christian Harris as the middle linebackers in 2019, the fact, and you mentioned this at the top, and that's what brings it to my attention, those guys were getting to the sideline out of breath, completely bewildered by what they had seen because they had never seen it before. Christian Harris, that was his first year playing linebacker. Shane Lee is more of a thumping run stuffer guy, so as far as pass coverage goes, that was exhaustive to him anyway. But they get to the sideline and they just start talking to Pete Golding about what they saw on the defense, on the opposing offense, and how they should begin to fix things. And before you know it, Tua Tagovailoa, Henry Ruggs, Jerry Jeudy, Devontae Smith, and Jalen Waddle, and Najee Harris, they had already walked the field. They've already scored, and they're turning around to get back on the field. How does that impact the defense, and what does it say about Pete Golding to you, from your perspective, on how he has managed to not only turn Christian Harris into one of the best linebackers in all of college football, but also to show that this defense could improve over time?
Okay, so here's, and don't get me wrong, I don't think any of us in any state, any country, any planet would say that Nick Saban's not the greatest coach in America. He's the greatest recruiter to ever walk the sidelines, right?
Right.
However, we have to be honest, and we have to say that we missed on some linebacker picks in the last several recruiting classes. You just mentioned earlier in the show, Ben Davis is leaving. Ben Davis was a 5-star recruit. He came there, and he couldn't get on the field. right? We missed on him. Alejo is in the transfer portal. He was a 5-star. He initially went to Washington. We missed on him. He could never get off the special teams, right? So we missed on those 2 guys. So we're thin at linebacker, just like you said. And those guys that are highly touted freshmen coming in, yeah, it's the same thing. Peak goal. And this year, it's just like 2015 when we had all the injuries at linebacker. And that was Coach Saban's probably best coaching job because we were the thinnest at defense. And I know this year we had problems with COVID, things like that, but I think that year we were hurt so badly, and to win that year, I just think it was a great, just a great coaching job. But this year, like you were saying, Coach Golding not having a spring with his kids and a bunch of young kids coming in, and the year before as well, with such a fast-paced offense and never being able to fix it, right? And he's having to coach from the sidelines because there isn't, like the NFL, there's not a mic in any of those guys' headsets like there is in the NFL. With you can designate a defensive player to have a mic in his helmet. So you can't talk to him out there. And Nick Saban's scheme, the reason a lot of these guys that get drafted get they get like a little bit more consideration or the benefit of the doubt is because his scheme is so tough to play in. And you're put on an island as a linebacker and as a DB so often that if you can play at this level and understand it, that's why Malachi Moore was the best player in our defense this year, and that's tough to say, but he's the best player in our defense. To not have a spring at all and come in and just be a beast, especially undersized. Wait till our 2 strength conditioning coaches get a hold of him and turn him into a Patrick Surtain monster.
I can't begin to.
I'm sorry, I'm fired up, man. I'm at the gym too. Like I'm just outside. I'm about to finish my workout, so I'm in here jacked up, and I'm listening to people talk, and I'll edit this, talk crap on my defense.
No, man, I can't begin to agree with you anymore, man.
I don't think it's we're talking crap. I love what you're saying. The only thing is that people are so quick to find. It's hard to find negativity, or it's easy to find negativity amongst the positive. Like you look at Alabama's offense, they're dominant, and if the defense doesn't do that at the same level every game, then it's easy for people to go, well, I guess the defense sucks, and they'll find a reason to be negative. I say it all the time. People find any reason for negativity.
Especially when we expect perfection. So I think you've got a strong point there. Wes, before we let you go, man, I want to hear what your analysis is, what you're thinking when it comes to Kool-Aid and Keanu Coat, what you want to see out of them in 2021.
Well, to be 100% honest with you, man, the only reason, I want to see Keanu Coat, and this is why I think Nick Saban's the greatest. Just to be honest with you, I don't even think that Keanu Coat was realistically one of our targets early on. I think Nick Saban just went to do that just to rub it into Ed Orgeron's face on signing day so he could let him know, because, publicly he won't say it. But there was, if you listen to it, and I rewatched it the other day, actually, yesterday. I was watching the LSU game, and before the LSU game, Nick Saban told, I think it was Erdahl, before the game that because they beat us last year, they might think that they could have some success against Alabama, and that we needed to go out and change their mindset. I think he just did it to take 2 highly recruited players that they are targeting, and we took 2 from them. But Kool-Aid on him, man, he's big, he's fast. I think he could be like a Jalen Waddle in the special team because he's super athletic, and I know those are high praises because I've never seen the kid play against an SEC defense. The kid's playing against high school kids, right? But he's just big, and, I think if you put him out there at corner as well because of how big he is, maybe at safety, one of those positions wherever he plays, I think he can be elite level being coached by Nick Saban. We just brought in a really good DB coach who's got NFL experience as well. I think you get him into our program, which, by the way, man, our program, we developed them from that's the old saying, built by Bama. There's a reason our dudes smash in the NFL because they get here, we train them right, we put them in the NFL, and we teach them right. Their technique, their body, everything is a machine, and that's what our program is, by the way.
A lot of people like to say that Alabama players bust in the NFL, then they're going to have to explain to me why there's 68 in the NFL with 10 to 12 more on the way. Wes, man, I have enjoyed chatting with you. Hope you stick around in the chat as well. Enjoy your workout. Finish it up strong, buddy. And be sure to join us some other time. We appreciate it, dude.
No problem, man. Hey, congratulations on the show. Y'all keep doing what you're doing and roll tide.
Roll Tide. Wes. First caller ever to Off the Edge. Interacted solidly on the chat as well. That's the way you can interact with this show. At Off the Edge 109 on Facebook and Twitter. You can send in those chat comments and I can see them instantly and we can discuss them on the air. You can call in at 205-342-9904 as well. We've got about 40 minutes to go. We're going to continue this conversation. I'm going to get into the freshmen that I am excited to see. I've got a couple in mind. Michael, if you've got some, we can get into yours as well as your phone calls and your comments in the streams as well. This is Off the Edge on Tide 100.9, the home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
What's it doing? Designing my new 2021 Nissan Kicks online in the Kicks Color Studio. I give each a special name. This one's electric blue, orange, red, white. I call it the gumball machine. You think it's me?
I feel like you're more of a red velvet guy.
Limitless possibilities. With over 100 million available color combinations and Bose Personal Plus system in the boldly new 2021 Nissan Kicks. Bose is the registered trademark of the Bose Corporation. Color combinations include interior and exterior colors. Customization is an available feature subject to availability at participating Nissan dealers. See dealer for details.
If you own a small business, you know how hard it can be to find new customers. Now Town Square has tools that can help your business stand out and grow today. Log on to GetLocalCustomersNow.com for a free local market competitive analysis that will show you what other businesses in town are doing to find new customers and how you can do it too with Town Square. Plus, be one of the first business owners to sign up with Town Square and receive $500 in free advertising on this radio station. Start growing your business today. Visit GetLocalCustomersNow.com.
Guys, breakfast.
How do you do it?
The kids or everything else?
Hey, are those...
New phones? Got 2 truly unlimited lines from Walmart Family Mobile. Tea's ready. With no contract. Pass the toast. Makes me feel like I'm a step ahead.
You are amazing.
And your boss is calling.
Get 2 truly unlimited lines with 30 gigabyte hotspot per line for under $75 a month. Powered by T-Mobile. Walmart Family Mobile. Stay a step ahead. HD video streaming up to 720p. See terms and conditions at myfamilymobile.com. Available at Walmart.
Hey, Matthew, we need to restock those sleeping bags.
Indeed knows unexpected growth can stretch your business thin.
Why don't you cover this register?
Like at Anita's outdoor store. To keep sales climbing, she needs to get started hiring right away.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. And the moment you sponsor a job on Indeed, you get a short list of quality candidates from our resume database. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get a $75 credit for your first sponsored job post. Terms and conditions apply.
The President's Day event is going on now at Carlock Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram of Tuscaloosa. Cash in on amazing Carlock offers and save thousands off MSRP on our most popular models. A new 2021 Dodge Charger, $4,000 off MSRP. A new 2021 Jeep Cherokee, $5,500 off MSRP. Save a whole lot of Benjamins on these models and many more. Visit carlockoftuscaloosa.com or swing by today to learn more. Charger offer on stock number MH512811 includes $3,000 factory incentive. Cherokee offer on stock number MD150417 includes $4,500 factory incentive. Both offers include $1,000 Carlock discount. Must finance through Chrysler Financial on approved credit. Excludes tax, title, and tags. Must take delivery by February 28, 2021. See dealer for details.
So you think you have unlimited data?
Recalculating.
Think again. If you have unlimited data on a network you can't trust, your data is limited, and so are you. Set your smartphone free with the unlimited plans from Total Wireless. Get 4 lines with unlimited data on the nation's best network now with 5G, with 100 gigabytes at high speed, then 2G, for just $25 a month per line.
You have arrived at your destination.
Get unlimited and save. Total Wireless. Do amazing. Available at Walmart. See terms and conditions at TotalWireless.com.
Follow Off the Edge on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube for live streams and instant analysis. Off the Edge with Jacob Harrison continues.
We've got to get these copyright-free songs, right? I didn't know there were bangers on there, like, you know.
I was just thinking a second ago, like, wow, this is really laid back compared to what we've been playing.
Well, Off the Edge, man.
Right.
Metal, brother, yeah.
Are you in the elevator?
I can listen to this all day. Welcome back into Off the Edge. Discussing our favorite freshmen that we are expected to see here in 2021. We're going to jump to Michael's favorite freshman. Before we do that, I do want to remind you of Alabama Vintage. They are an incredible store here in Tuscaloosa, 2210 University Boulevard. Charlie and the guys brought an incredible idea and brought it to Tuscaloosa for you to all enjoy. Whether you need Alabama Vintage hats, shoes, jackets, sweaters, tees of the old Iron Bowl victories, jerseys, you name it, they've got it. They've got incredible trinkets and wall hangers that you can display in your home as well. And it's not just all Alabama Crimson Tide. They've got this giant Michael Jordan cutout that's sitting in the front window, and I've seen jerseys from other teams as well. So there's plenty to check out. And hey, this one's just for you, Wes. You helped remind me, since you're out there in Atlanta. They do have a website, AlabamaVTG.com. You can go check out all their awesome products there as well and have it shipped to you. Charlie and the guy, Ben. Charlie is an awesome guy, and Alabama Vintage is an awesome store for all Alabama Crimson Tide fans. Michael, who are the Alabama Crimson Tide freshmen that you are excited to see here in 2021?
Yeah, it's not so much one single player as it is a positional group. We got 4 stud wide receivers coming in next year. Ja'Cory Brooks is, I believe, the highest rated of the 4, but there's also guys like Agiye Hall, Christian Leary, and JoJo Earl. JoJo Earl and Leary, a bit smaller, quicker guys, kind of like I've seen a couple of Waddle comparisons to them. But, yeah, I mean, when I was a senior in high school deciding where I was going to go to college, I watched the national championship against Georgia. I watched a positional group of freshman wide receivers go out and win the national championship. And that was actually kind of what convinced me to go to Alabama. I was between here and Tennessee. Yes, I know. Boo. But anyway, I mean, you take a group of 4 young elite, these guys coming in, I'm thinking they could be another class that comes up together and dominates together for the next 4 years.
First of all, we have to get your eyes checked because nobody wants to go to Tennessee and wear that future orange. Second of all, thankful that you're here. For what it's worth, I almost went to Auburn and LSU myself. You know, you've heard this. Don't give me that look. No, the ball's not back. It will not be back for another decade. You heard it here on Off the Edge. It's not that hot of a take, but it is the truth. They're done for a minute. But as far as Michael's consideration to these 4 wide receivers, 4 of the top 10 wide receivers in the 2021 recruiting class. That is nuts. That's not fair. Like that's the sort of stuff that people like me that are Group of 5 sympathizers and want playoff expansion and whatnot, that's the kind of stuff that those kind of people that aren't Alabama fans kind of cry about. Like, you cannot possibly do that. It's just not fair. And it's not even the first time Alabama's done it. Maybe the ranking system of it, because Devontae Smith wasn't as highly ranked out of that either, and Jalen Waddle wasn't a part of that class. But nonetheless, 4 wide receivers that you can count on that are all versatile in what they do, have similar traits. You talk about JoJo Earl and the other speedster there, but you know, when you're talking about 4 guys that can all come in and contribute, because there is a little bit of a hole there. Like, you've got John Mechie, the Canadian machine, maybe a smaller Mapletron. He's not Chase Claypool. I can't give him that. That's Mapletron. But he at least picks up the football meters in bunches, if you will. But regardless, that's really the only guy that you've got, that you feel good about at the wide receiver position. You do have Jaleel Billingsley at tight end, who's kind of got this build that makes you think, Jaleel Billingsley looks like Najee Harris. Like, he looks like a massive running back at tight end, and to me, it really just doesn't make sense. I'm all here for some Jaleel Billingsley. I think he's going to be a monster next year. Hopefully in the same vein as Kyle Pitts. Just take the whole entire SEC by storm. You can shake your head, Mr. Florida. That's something that is totally possible.
No one is Kyle Pitts. You realize this dude had 0 drops, right? 0. As in 0. Drops.
Hey,
Kyle Pitts.
Drop that Alabama hat off your head.
Look, I'm an Alabama fan, but great recognizes great.
Oh, no doubt.
Great.
And Jaleel Billingsley will be too.
I think he'll be good. I don't know if he'll be on the same level as Pitts.
Kyle Pitts, say what you will, incredible talent. You only heard about him 1 year. Say what you will. I didn't tell a lie. I didn't tell a lie right there. It kind of is what it is. But regardless, I still agree with Michael because you got a situation. I think JoJo Earle's my favorite out of this one. The guy flips from LSU at the very last second, doesn't tell a soul except for one coach, and goes out there, puts on the Alabama hat, and he's headed here. The only problem is he's the only one that's not enrolled yet. And that's concerning because we're going to go through another offseason that's going to be impacted by COVID. Now, look, Malachi Moore, as we've talked about already on the show, is a guy that came in despite the COVID and got himself acclimated to the defense and became a leader and an incredible playmaker. JoJo Earle could potentially do the same thing. But he's a guy that I really, really like. I think his speed, he can be a guy, not so much replace Jalen Waddle, but kind of fill that void as the gadget player that can hit those short routes, do the jet passes, and those sorts of things that make Bryce Young feel comfortable and get out and make some plays as well. If he can't do it, I think Christian Leary will be a solid option as well. He's got that speed all the same. Now, when it comes down to Ajayi Hall and Ja'Cory Brooks, they're bigger wide receivers. They're still lanky. But I still think either one could definitely take that outside position opposite of John Mechie. Now, we still got Xavier Williams to think about in that position too. He is definitely a guy that can play in that spot as well. I will say, though, the interesting thing will be to see who does get on the field. Because as much as excited as we can be about Xavier Williams, during this stretch of Alabama having just absolutely insane wide receivers, there have not been a lot of guys that get on as freshmen and play. You can go back to when Amari Cooper first took over as the number one wide receiver. He did that as a freshman, obviously, but the way that he carried through, there wasn't always a next freshman, the next guy to think, oh, that guy is going to be the next Amari Cooper, the next real deal, the next first-round pick at wide receiver, until these guys came in with Jerry Jeudy and Devontae Smith and Henry Ruggs. Now, those guys didn't play a ton of football in that 2017 year, but regardless, they still acquired a rapport with both Jalen Hurts and Tua Tagovailoa, and then Jalen Waddle in the subsequent year when it was just Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs, and Devontae Smith. Jalen Waddle pushed Devontae Smith out of the way a little bit, pushed Henry Ruggs out of the way a little bit, and got on the field. So that's who I'm excited to see. Who can be that guy that's like Jalen Waddle, whether he plays like him or not? Because if it's Ajayi Hall or Ja'Cory Brooks, I'm just as fine as if it were Christian Leary or JoJo Earle. But that's the guy that you've got to be excited about, is whoever is the guy that comes out, whether it's on A-Day or Week 1 against Miami, that's the guy to be excited about.
Do you realize how scary it is that the wide receiver position is not the only offensive position where there is depth? I mean, the running back position is incredibly deep. I mean, and filling in for Najee, I mean, Brian Robinson, who still has really, I mean, he's pretty much going to come back at this point.
He's back.
Right. So, I mean, but with the recruits they have, I mean, it's not a for sure thing that Brian Robinson takes over. I mean, there's a lot of talent.
I don't think he does, because I like Roydell Williams a lot. I like Roydell Williams a whole bunch. He looked very, very good last year. I think you still have to look out for Trey Sanders. Yeah, he's had the injury battles. He had the foot injury. He had the hip injury in the car accident. I think that's a guy that can come back in and really steal some reps. Now, look, for a lot of these guys, it's been difficult to find those reps because you just couldn't take Najee Harris off the field. There was no reason to, because he's a great blocker and a great pass catcher. Brian Robinson really, was kind of just a product of the situation. But overall, I think that this running back class is going to be absolutely incredible too. Jason McClellan was the guy whose name I was trying to figure out here. That's another guy who went to the same high school as JoJo Earle, by the way. That's a guy that can come in and steal these reps. And by the way, we still got the class that's coming in here. You go out and you get the best running back in the entire class in Kamar Wheaton. Who do you give the ball to? How do you decide? And poor Brian, I mean, probably. He's not enrolled yet either, and that's usually a sign that it's going to be a little bit more difficult to get on the field. doesn't mean that it can't happen. But I mean, poor Brian Robinson, Mr. Hillcrest himself is it's really going to be hard to push some of these guys off. You think back to T.J. Yeldon. When T.J. Yeldon had to fend off Derrick Henry. Like, that's kind of the situation that Brian Robinson is in, wearing the same exact number 2. And, you're good. You can absolutely, lead this team if that's who Nick Saban decides to go with. But the guys behind you are going to wreck stuff.
Well, didn't Brian Robinson do enough, though, last season?
I don't know.
You don't think he did enough to kind of take that spot?
I mean, I hope so. Look...
I love Brian Robinson. I'm with you.
Always am I rooting for guys, even if I haven't been crazy about their production. Last year, I was very critical of Chris Allen for most of the season because he wasn't picking up, what Will Anderson was laying down on the other side. And then towards the end of the season, he started setting the edge better and getting to the quarterback. So you can absolutely change your opinion or my opinion of you as a Crimson Tide football player. Not that my opinion amounts to a hill of beans, other than I just like to do it. But regardless, I think Brian Robinson, if he is given that opportunity, it's because he earned it. But I don't know if he's had the opportunity to earn enough of that simply because of Najee Harris being in front of him and being a do-it-all back. Regardless, I would feel comfortable if he's the back because in Saban I trust, but also because from what we have seen, he is a physical runner who can get out there and do it. Now, he's not going to hit home run balls, but neither did Najee. At the same time, though, Brian Robinson's not going to be doing these hurdles and catching the ball in the backfield in the same manner. He's not going to be the same dominant player that Najee was. And if he is, I'll say I was wrong, and I'll be glad to say it. But regardless of who plays running back, my favorite freshmen are the guys that are in control of the destiny of these running backs. And I can't wait to talk about them because it was the best recruiting job I think Alabama has ever done at this position. And some of the best recruits they've ever brought in played this position of all time. If you go on the 24/7 Sports composite and you check out who the top recruits were, these guys compete, I think. And I'm excited to see them suit up and lead the way for this Alabama Crimson Tide offense into the future. I'm Jacob Harrison. We'll come right back and continue our discussion on the favorite freshmen of the 2021 season. You can join through the chat function on whichever stream you are enjoying us on. And you can also join the show via the hotline 205-342-9904. We'll be right back with more Off the Edge on Tide 100.9, the home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
So you think you have unlimited data?
We got another break. We got 10 minutes left in the show total. So I don't know if you want to do a lightning here or just take it 5 minutes each, I guess.
Get 4 lines with unlimited data on the nation's best network now with 5G. With 100 gigabytes at high speed, then 2G for just $25 a month per line.
You have arrived at your destination.
Get unlimited and save. Total Wireless. Do amazing. Available at Walmart. See terms and conditions at TotalWireless.com.
Gary is refinancing his home, so he shopped around for the lowest rate and found it at Amerisave.com, setting him up for a lifetime of savings. It's one decision he'll never regret, unlike taking that gig in the testing lab at the deodorant company.
Raise your arm, please. Oh, man, I hate this job.
Pretty regrettable, Gary. Unlike finding that low mortgage rate at Amerisave.com that's got you on your way to a lifetime of savings. Amerisave's rates won't be this low forever, so go to Amerisave.com now. Lower mortgage rates mean higher savings. Call 866-514-SAVE or visit Amerisave.com/licensing for cost information, terms, and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all states except New York. NMLS number 1168.
If I'm not commuting anymore, where do I really want to live?
While you handle life's questions, Merrill Guided Investing helps you manage your portfolio and invest for your next move. With the option to work with an advisor at a low cost and minimum. Merrill, a Bank of America company. Visit merrilledge.com/investing goals to get started today.
Investing involves risk. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated, both a registered broker-dealer and investment advisor, member SIPC. Investment products are not FDIC insured or not bank guaranteed and may lose value.
Meet Bob Minetti. In 2016, he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. Bob participated in a clinical trial that included cutting-edge radiation therapy and surgery. He's been in remission since completion. I'm Keisha Sharp. Since losing my mother to pancreatic cancer, I've been working to share the kind of state-of-the-art work being done by Stand Up to Cancer and Lust Garden Foundation. To learn more about the latest research, including clinical trials, visit pancreaticcancercollective.org.
Guys, breakfast!
How do you do it?
The kids or everything else?
Hey, are those...
New phones? Got 2 truly unlimited lines from Walmart Family Mobile. Tea's ready. With no contract. Pass the toast. Makes me feel like I'm a step ahead.
You are amazing.
And your boss is calling.
Get 2 truly unlimited lines with 30 gigabyte hotspot per line for under $75 a month. Powered by T-Mobile. Walmart Family Mobile. Stay a step ahead. HD video streaming up to 720p. See terms and conditions at myfamilymobile.com. Available at Walmart.
It was very important to feel like a company valued me and my family's time, specifically helping get the timeshare company off of our backs.
Do all the good you can, by all the means you can, and all the ways you can. I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. I first heard that John Wesley quote when I was 11 years old in Sunday school. I even have his words displayed at all of our offices to give our employees the same purpose I have when fighting to get clients out of a fraudulent timeshare.
If you are not satisfied with other companies, look directly to Wesley Financial and they will help you.
I promise we'll do all the good we can every single day. That's why I guarantee we will cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. 800-843-1313. 800-843-1313. 800-843-1313.
Fear, guilt, indecision. These raw feelings are common when users witness an opioid overdose. As a bystander, fear and indecision may race through your mind, but it's vital that you call for help. Alabama's Good Samaritan law protects those who act in good faith in situations like an opioid overdose. Find out more about Alabama's Good Samaritan law at VitalAlabama.com.
Risky behavior with alcohol can lead to future health problems without warning. High blood pressure, stroke, and cancer. Substance misuse is dangerous. Knowing the risk is vital.
We aren't going anywhere. Off the Edge is available in the podcast center on Tide100.9.com.
Welcome back into Off the Edge. My name is Jacob Harrison. Say what you will about these copyright-free songs that I have to play from YouTube in order to stream.
Can I borrow these from my show?
Probably.
Especially if we ever start recording, we might need to borrow some.
Probably. I mean,
What's the funky here?
Yeah. Yeah, I accidentally included the funky mood in the rock genre, and this is the result, is we just get bops after bops after bops that weren't supposed to fit the aesthetic of the show, you know, the whole Off the Edge thing, but you know, it kind of did anyway because it's Off the Edge. We just do whatever.
We'll play a rock one next. It'll be okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, regardless, the show always gets to end with the best song ever written. So it's all good. It's all good. So I'll fill you in on that in the next break. We'll be good. We'll be good. That's James Lubin on the other side of the glass, pushing the buttons on his own time and his own dime, and we greatly appreciate him. He is a trooper. You know, if you need a guy that can get things done, it's James Lubin. In the previous segment, we talked about the wide receivers and the running backs in this freshman class. We've dove headfirst into the defense. But before I let you know who my favorite freshmen are going to be, Wesley, I'll let you know, we're going to talk about Paul Tyson on Friday's show. Kind of just ran out of time today. But we will talk about Paul Tyson, the throwing video that he displayed, and what that could possibly mean to the Bryce Young being starting quarterback situation. We'll talk about that on Friday. Also have something written up within the week as well on Tide109.com. So again, check out that chat feature. You know, we can interact. We can Form bonds here on Off the Edge and become friends. It's all great. Right here on Off the Edge, we're going to dive into the offensive line class of the 2021 Alabama Crimson Tide. Boy, we got some hog mollies. Woo! Tell them, Rick. J.C. Latham, James and Tommy Brockmeyer, T.J. Ferguson. Let me tell you guys something. I don't know if these guys are ever going to be, like the offensive line. Like these 4 guys will make up the core offensive line within like 2-3 years' time. It's just too difficult to say. When you got other guys like Darren Dalcourt and Neal, no telling how long he stays. That sort of thing. Like it's understandable, right? There's guys like Tony Brown. Like there's some good there's some great offensive linemen already on the Alabama Crimson Tide, headed up by Ed Neal, who's just a monster. If he plays past this season with the Alabama Crimson Tide, I'd be shocked because I think he's a top 10 pick in the 2022 NFL Draft already. He hasn't even played a snap at left tackle, a meaningful snap at left tackle yet. And I'm telling you right now, he's top 10 pick at left tackle in the NFL Draft a season from now. But when it comes down to it, man, that right tackle position is open because Evan Neal is going to left tackle. The center position, there's a battle to be had. Now, Chris Owens is the presumptive starter, kind of has earned that right as being the senior guy that has the experience, and everybody respects him. He's a leader on the team. That's great. Justin Boygu will be the right guard. You're also going to have a situation in the left guard. You're going to have to figure out who that is. So the 2 guys that I am the most excited for are not the Brockmeyer twins, who I'm excited to see in year 2. It is J.C. Latham at right tackle and T.J. Ferguson at left guard. And the reason comes down to it. These are old school Alabama Crimson Tide offensive linemen that still fit the new era of football. T.J. Ferguson is a nasty, nasty guy at that left guard position. I think this is a guy that we're going to enjoy watching, similar to the vein of Chance Warmack and Deontay Brown, but while holding on to the athleticism required to perform at a high level in the NFL as well. Now, of course, that's a strong projection, don't get me wrong. I understand that. I'm not saying he's an NFL guy right now. I'm saying what he has right now. Because he played left tackle at the college level, but he comes in at 6'4", 300, but he is just a nasty, nasty dude. He is violent at the point of attack. And as I talked about with Will Anderson, I am a fan of violent football. I respect the targeting rules and the protection rules. I respect all of that greatly. I will immediately say, yes, that was targeting. No, it was not. Yes, that was uncalled for. No, it was not. Yada, yada, yada. But if you can be violent within the frame of the rules of today's football, you are a dude. You can play this sport for a very long time because that is the mark of a great player. And I think that's what T.J. Ferguson does. At the left guard position, he is going to open holes for these running backs, and he's going to protect Bryce Young or Paul Tyson, if that's your thing. But I think that guy is just a monster. Now, as for J.C. Latham, you don't become the number 1 player in the country for nothing. Now, yeah, some people have Tuipuloa ahead of him. That's fine. That's great. Okay. But J.C. Latham he's the right tackle until Evan Neal leaves or until Tommy Brockmeyer proves otherwise that he can be the left tackle. But I think J.C. Latham is another monster. I see a lot of Cam Robinson in this guy where he's, again, a nasty guy that can get it done in both frames. The thing, unlike Cam, I think, is he's a better pass blocker, and that's going to go a long way as well. Regardless of what this offense looks like next year, to have 2 guys that can bookend as pass blockers in this offense is going to be critical. I'm still very much on the skeptical side of what the 2021 Alabama Crimson Tide offense will look like. I feel the same way about Bill O'Brien now as I did about Sarkisian when he first got back with the Alabama Crimson Tide. I don't know. I have no take because I don't know what Bill O'Brien is going to do. I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know how successful of a recruit he can be, how personal he can be with these players. I understand he's a super nice guy off the gridiron. But I also know that on the gridiron, he's a hard ass, and that can be difficult. How many hard asses can you deal with? Just Nick Saban? Can you deal with Nick Saban and Bill O'Brien? Can you do that? Can you handle that as a player? Should you have to be mentally tough? And be able to do that? Yes, absolutely. But it still comes down to being able to form the players around you and be able to develop them and resonate with them as human beings. Because even as hard as Nick Saban is, his players love him. And we have seen that in a more open way over the past few years, whether it's guys like Tua Tagovailoa or Landon Dickerson or Devontae Smith, Mac Jones, Najee. Nick Saban is starting to open up and show just how much he loves his players. So those are the two guys that I am most excited about, and I cannot wait to see. I'm hoping that they're going to be major fixtures on the Alabama Crimson Tide offense in 2021. We will be right back to close up the show right here on Tide 100.9. My name is Jacob Harrison. This is Off the Edge.
If you own a small business, you know how hard it could be to find new customers. Now, Town Square has new tools that can help your business stand out and grow today. Go to GetLocalCustomersNow.com for a free local market competitive analysis that will show you what other businesses in town are doing to find new customers and how you can do it too with Town Square. Plus, be one of the first business owners to sign up with Town Square and receive $500 in free advertising on this radio station. Visit GetLocalCustomersNow.com.
Hey, Matthew, we need to restock those sleeping bags.
Indeed knows unexpected growth can stretch your business thin.
When have you covered this register?
Like at Anita's outdoor store. To keep sales climbing, she needs to get started hiring right away.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. And the moment you sponsor a job on Indeed, you get a short list of quality candidates from our resume database. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get a $75 credit for your first sponsored job post. Terms and conditions apply.
The President's Day event is going on now at Carlock Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram of Tuscaloosa. Cash in on amazing Carlock offers and save thousands off MSRP on our most popular models. A new 2021 Dodge Charger, $4,000 off MSRP. A new 2021 Jeep Cherokee, $5,500 off MSRP. Save a whole lot of Benjamins on these models and many more. Visit carlockoftuscaloosa.com or swing by today to learn more. Charger offer on stock number MH512811 includes $3,000 factory incentive. Cherokee offer on stock number MD150417 includes $4,500 factory incentive. Both offers include $1,000 Carlock discount. Must finance through Chrysler Financial. Unapproved credit. Excludes tax, title, and tags. Must take delivery by February 28, 2021. See dealer for details.
So you think you have unlimited data?
Recalculating.
Think again. If you have unlimited data on a network you can't trust, your data is limited, and so are you. Set your smartphone free with the unlimited plans from Total Wireless. Get 4 lines with unlimited data on the nation's best network now with 5G. With 100 gigabytes at high speed, then 2G for just $25 a month per line.
You have arrived at your destination.
Get unlimited and save. Total Wireless. Do amazing. Available at Walmart. See terms and conditions at TotalWireless.com.
Have you ever wanted to learn a new language like French, Spanish, or Russian, but thought it would be too difficult and time-consuming? Then go to Babbel.com and try it for free. Babbel works because it's built around real life. It teaches you everyday practical conversations that you will actually use. In 15 minutes a day, you'll be on your way to speaking a new language in just a few weeks. Babbel uses a modern conversation-based technique that makes language engaging, fun, and memorable. It starts by teaching you words and phrases. Then, sentences gradually get more complex. Soon, you're practicing short conversations about real-life topics. Babbel is created by language experts who use the spaced repetition method to help you learn quickly and remember what you learned. With Babbel, you can speak a new language. Babbel. Language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
It's time for some straight talk. Look, we all know the sound. It happens. Your phone. You fumble it, crack it, splash it. Well, Straight Talk Wireless's new Platinum Unlimited plan includes phone protection that covers those kinds of mishaps. Just $65 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data, plus more features, like 20 gigs of hotspot and 100 gigs of cloud storage, all on the best networks. Straight Talk Wireless only at Walmart.
See Mobile Protect terms and conditions at assuring.com/straight talk. Limitations and exclusions apply.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A clear sky tonight. Tuscaloosa's low at 39 degrees. Tomorrow and Wednesday, sunny both days with a warming trend. The high tomorrow is 67. Wednesday's high 71. Thursday, a mix of sun and clouds with a few isolated showers. The high at 70. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9.
You're listening to Off the Edge on Tide 100.9.
Welcome back into Off the Edge. We're closing her down. We have had an absolute blast. I want to remind you to go to the Twitter handle at OffTheEdge109. Get us to 250 likes, and we will start up the Twitch portion of the show where we're going to stream NCAA 14 on Twitch, and we're going to have a lot of fun there running through an Alabama Crimson Tide dynasty. We are also planning on doing a few other things with that, so if you go on ahead, follow at Off the Edge 100.9. Wow, did I make that handle a mouthful. Go check us out over there, give us a follow, get us to 250, and we'll get started on that. Strongly encourage you, if you're on a stream, like that stream, share it, and keep spreading the word. I appreciate everybody that commented tonight, and I can't wait to do it some more. We'll be back on Friday from 7 to 9. Like, share, and subscribe. YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Off the Edge 109. I'm Jacob Harrison. This is Off the Edge on Tide 100.9. Until next time.